Hey everybody, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar, here with a really fun video today. I always thought it would be fun to critique a Metallica tribute band. And I saw a video for one, and they were playing Disposable Heroes. And they were actually a Russian tribute band to Metallica, and I thought, this is really cool. And then I was going to do a video just on them. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, wouldn't that be fun to take maybe 5 different Metallica tribute bands and critique each one, give them sort of a score based on my own criteria, and then, I don't know, say what the order is, from 5 to 1, who I thought was the best. But there are so many Metallica tribute bands out there. Even locally, we have a couple here in Minnesota. But I thought, in order to filter it down a little bit, I'm only going to choose bands that attempted to play Disposable Heroes. A big reason why is because recently I was involved in a project with a guy named KJ. Check out his channel if you haven't. He does a lot of cool Metallica stuff. And it was very difficult. So I thought, you know what? Any band that has the guts to do that song live, I want to put them in this video. The first band is a Russian Metallica tribute called Metal Maniacs. For their name, I gave them a 5 because, I think it could have been better. I don't know if the translation sometimes gets lost when they come up with these names, but, I think the Metal Militia would have been a really cool name. Maybe it's already taken. I'm not sure. For musicianship, I gave this band a 9. They're all really great players, especially I would say the James guy kind of steals the show. He's able to play all the parts. Neither guitar player looks like they're struggling to play this very difficult song. So they're great players. For gear, they get a 7. Both of the guitar players are playing the correct guitar. I really love the white Explorer with the decal on it, of course. Unfortunately, the drummer's playing a single kick kit. That's hard to say. And the funny part, too, is he's playing behind a drum shield, which is really bizarre. I don't know if it's the band's doing or the club. Sometimes the club doesn't want the drums to be too loud, so they put you behind this weird cage, basically. But, that kind of kills the vibe, but that's probably not his fault. Now, there is a Marshall on the stage, but then on the other side, there's a high-watt amp, which is kind of strange for a Metallica tribute band. But, it sounds okay. It just isn't Metallica, in my opinion. For stage presence, I give them a 6, a very solid 6. Most of it goes to the James Hetfield guy, because he looks and he has the same attitude and the vibe and the spirit of James Hetfield, a young James Hetfield. The guy who plays Kirk, first of all, he's on the wrong side of the stage, which is kind of weird, but he doesn't really look like Kirk. He's not trying to look like Kirk, but, he's doing all right. He's doing what's needed. For the Metallic quotient, I give them an 8, mostly because of the singer, once again, really just screams, pardon the pun, Hetfield. If you close your eyes and listen, it has a raw quality to it. It's really the recording of the video. But I don't know, I just feel some real emotion behind what they play, like they really mean what they're saying. The next band is called Hardwired, which is pretty gutsy to use a newer, to me it's newer, Metallica name for your tribute band. But it's real fitting, and it's a cool word anyway. From what I've read, they're from Brazil, and they're a really good band, actually. For their name, I give them a solid 7, because it is a little bit gutsy to go with the newer name. At least they didn't go with Lulu, I guess. For musicianship, I have no complaints. I actually give them a 9, because they play the parts really well. They look pretty comfortable as they do it, and they just seem like each of them is real adept at their instruments. Is that a word, adept? For gear, I have to give them only a 5. I don't really see amps on stage. I think they're doing more pedal board directly to the PA type thing. There is one amp on the stage, and I think it's just for monitoring reasons or something. But the guitars are really cool. The girl has the White Zombie guitar that I had before. I gave it to my nephew, but it's a really solid Kirk Hammett model. The drum set, unfortunately, is just one kick drum, which always bums me out because every time you think of Lars Ulrich, you think of 2 kick drums. For stage presence, I give them a 7 because, the drummer has all that energy. The bass player is always moving. He's always headbanging. But I wish the singer and the guitar player, the lead guitar player, would be a little bit more into it, as far as headbanging and stuff, especially because the girl has long hair and would look really cool if she headbanged more. But once again, it's a difficult song. It's hard to headbang and play some of those intricate patterns for that long. For Metallic quotient, I only gave them a 5 because when I close my eyes and listen to it, it just sounds kind of like a watered down version of Metallica. I mean, they all do. It's really hard to get to that level, that intensity, especially early Metallica. And the next band is a Metallica tribute from Japan, and they're called Hattalica. So right away, you're probably going to guess that their name score is pretty low. I'm giving them a 2, and it might be a translation thing once again, but just saying Hattalica seems a little bit weird. For musicianship, I gave them a 7. Individually, they're all really great musicians. Just when they play together, sometimes there's a few little missed things here and there. Gear-wise, I have to give them a really high score. I give them a 9. We finally have the double bass kit, which just feels very fitting. We have the Explorer, we have the ESP reverse headstock for Hammett, and the bass player is playing that 5-string, and he's holding it, headbanging, like I said, just like Newstead. So high score on the gear. For stage presence, once again, a really high score. I give them a 9. They're just always moving. You know, it might be the way it's edited and the lights and everything like that, but they really feel professional. Sometimes if I look away a little bit or blur my eyes, I think it's Metallica. Metallic quotient, though, I had to bring it down to 7, mostly because of the lead singer's voice. It just doesn't have that edge that James Hetfield has. None of these guys do, actually. It's really hard to achieve that 1986 gritty yet screamy Hetfield tone. The next band is called Blistered Earth, and they're from right here in the United States. I really love their name because it's taken from one of my favorite Metallica songs, probably my favorite Metallica song, Blackened. And I don't know, it's just a really badass name, so I give them a 9 for that. Musicianship, I give them a solid 8. Everybody plays really well. I really focused in on the drummer. He's got a lot of energy, and you can just tell that this band has been together a long time. I looked at some of their older videos. They've been around for many years, but they're just really great players. Gear, I had to give them a high score of 8. We had the double bass kit one more time, and then, all the guitars were correct, for the most part, and I saw Marshall amps, which really got me excited. For their stage presence, I gave them an 8. I felt that energy the entire time. If they had better editing, this is just shot from one angle, but if they had the lights going on, they have a big white screen behind them. I wish they would have been able to play like some sort of, background, some image or some motion or something would have been really badass. Or like even a picture of the Master of Puppets album would have been sweet. But they had a lot of energy going on, all except for the lead guitar player. Once again, it's a very difficult song, so he probably had to focus quite a bit. The Cliff Burton guy gave up a really good vibe on stage too. It wasn't too intense. It was more of that relaxed, groovy, getting into it sort of vibe. Metallic quotient, I gave them a 7. And, it's really hard to say anything bad about this band. They're a great band. They're tight. Like I said, they've been around for a while. The last Metallica tribute I'll talk about is a band called Intrepid, and I believe they're from Slovakia. I did a little bit of research for each of one of these bands just to more or less find their origins. Now, the word itself, Intrepid, is a really cool band name, but for a Metallica tribute, I really didn't like it very much. It has a cool meaning. It means fearless. It's like a person who's fearless or whatever, but I had to give them a 2 for their name because when I hear Intrepid, I really don't think of anything Metallica related. Maybe it's in a song that I forgot about or something like that, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I know for sure it's a car. Musicianship, I gave them a 6. Now, they're all really good players, but the drummer speeds up the song so much. I feel really bad for the other members, even though they had to, catch up and they had to counter that. So the drummer's like way up here and the rest of the players had to match that. And that's a lot to ask. So it does take a lot of musicianship to catch up like that. But the fact that the drummer is so out of control with his tempo, it sounds funny. We're talking about, trying to copy Lars, who's known for doing that. But this guy's playing it even faster than 1986 Lars. For gear, I give them a 7. The guy has a black Explorer, which looks really cool. They have Marshalls on stage. And the lead guitar player looks like he has a Kirk Hammett-style guitar as well. It's kind of a dark video, so I wasn't really sure. Unfortunately, the drummer has a single kick drum, so that always knocks a few points off, at least in my determination. For stage presence, I have to give them a 4. Once again, it goes back to the drummer. A lot of people don't realize how important the drummer is to a band. But when you're playing that fast and crazy, the rest of the band, instead of really getting into it and being in the moment, they're always thinking, oh my God, I've just got to catch up. So it makes everybody a little bit uncomfortable on stage. I'm not sure if that's what's happening, but that's the vibe I'm getting from it. So that brings the Metallica quotient down to 4 as well. If the drummer brought it down a little bit and the band could really vibe, I think it would feel a lot more like Metallica. But the whole thing just feels like a rushed, kind of chaotic mess. It's amazing they got through it though. Okay, let's do the rankings now. So if you totaled them up yourself, you already know. But in 5th place is the band we just talked about, Intrepid. All I can think of is that drummer speeding everything up. But okay, let's move on. In 4th place, we have Brazil's Hardwired. I really like this band a lot. I love that they had the girl in the band. She shreds. So it's a very tight band, but we're only talking 5 bands here, so being 4th place isn't the worst thing in the world, especially when the numbers get really close here towards the end, which you'll see. Japan's METALLICA. I really like these guys. They just seem like, I don't know, a really good representation of Metallica. Like I said, though, just the vocals aren't strong enough to really match the intensity that's needed. The Kirk Hammett guy, though, more than makes up for it. From a distance and from a certain lighting, I swore it was Kirk Hammett a few times. The next band is Russia's own Metal Maniacs. And as you probably remember, he's the guy who looks and sounds like a young James Hetfield, probably the most. And so he really carries the band as far as the look and the vibe and all that kind of stuff, but they're all really great players. Which leaves the number 1 spot, and that is Blistered Earth. And I didn't just choose them because they're from my home country or anything like that. I'm not being biased in that aspect. I was being completely open to any of the bands. But they're just the strongest in all categories. You know, they're the most consistent. But if I were to have my way, I would kind of handpick from each band. I would choose the James Hetfield guy from Metal Maniacs, the Kirk Hammett guy from METALLICA. They should have said METALLICA. That would have been cool. The bass player from Hardwired. The drummer from, I don't know, a couple bands could have sufficed, but I would have to say Blistered Earth. And then I would also grab the Cliff guy from Blistered Earth, just because it'd be really cool to have Cliff play the Cliff songs and Jason play the Jason songs. But I'll just have to dream about it. Okay, everyone, I will catch you later. I have to take a few days off here, but when I get back, I'm going to go on this road trip. When I get back, I'm going to be flooding YouTube with brand new videos. I have all these ideas and I'm getting back in the swing of it. I was writing a little novella, they're called, 12,000 word story for my other channel, and it's done basically, but it's taken a lot of my time, a lot of my energy. So when I get back from this trip, I'm going to decompress a little bit and I'll come back with a vengeance with some awesome videos for you. Okay, thanks for watching. It was a lot of fun doing this one, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.